So we're going to do solving two-step equations. So first of all, when we're solving for equations, we're solving for the missing number, which is, in this case, it's the variable, okay? So we solved one-step equations all last week. We did adding and subtracting one step and multiplying and dividing one step. So it's the same kind of concept, but it's working backwards to find that missing value. So example 1, the variable is v, right? Okay? So if I'm solving for v, I need to take everything away from v. Does that make sense? And I need to single it out so that I can solve for it. So to take everything away, I have to work backwards, and that means I have to do the opposite. So I always deal with the whatever's attached to the variable last. Do you understand what I mean by attached? Like, see how these are next to each other? That I feel like they're attached. Does that make sense? So I always deal with that last. So whatever side it's on, I'm dealing with the variable side first. So, for example, if I'm solving for v here, I'm going to move the 3 first. So the opposite of minus 3 is what? Plus 3. Okay, so plus 3. So we have 25 plus 3, which is 28. And then 7v equals 28. So I marked out that 3 because I added 3. Minus 3 plus 3 zeroes out, right? So it leaves me 7v on the left side. So now we're into something that we saw last time. 7 and v are multiplying. The opposite is to what? Divide. So we divide both sides like by 7, and we get v is equal to 4. This part right here looks like what we did last week, okay? This should be a review. I think y'all did this last year. We're just taking it up a notch. You good with that? Okay, let's look at example 2. Okay, so negative 10 equals 8 plus 3x. We're solving for x because x is the variable, right? So I'm going to put the line down my equal side. I'm only doing that because I need to know that what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. So I'm going to leave 3 and x for the last piece, and I'm going to deal with the 8 first. So what's the opposite of positive 8? Why did I say positive 8? The 8 doesn't have a sign in front of it. It's not subtracting, so we just know it's positive, so the opposite is negative. Okay? So we're going to subtract 8. Negative 10 minus 8. 2. Well, okay, here's where our integer rules come into play. Leave, change, change. Because it's negative 10 minus 8 would be negative 18. We're going to have to be real careful with our integer rules, okay? So now divide both sides by, and x is negative 6. Okay. Number 1, into the exercises. Okay, what's my variable? Y. Okay, so I'm trying to isolate y, so I got to start moving things away. So I'm going to subtract 1. Okay, do you see y? Yeah. Okay, subtract 1. And then I would mark that out, 4y equals 12. So 4 and y are multiplying, so the opposite would be to divide. So y is going to equal 3. Okay. And 2. Okay. So here's my line. Okay, I'm gonna make a suggestion. I want to move that 26. Should I do that first? Yeah. I don't know. Can I? If I moved it, what happens to that side?
It's empty.
It's empty. Okay, so I want you to always think of this equal sign as a balance beam. So what happens if you take everything off one side? It's unbalanced, and what somebody hits the ground, right? Does that make sense? If we're seesawing, right, and Caden gets off, what am I going to do? Hit the ground. I need to maintain equality all the time. I need to be balancing that seesaw all the time. So if I can't take 26 away from this side because it leaves nothing on that side. Are you with me? So that's why I deal with this side first, the side with a letter. Okay? So that's why I deal with a 2. So instead of plus 2, I'm going to say minus 2. Okay? And then I have 6x equals 26 minus 2. 24. And so we divided both sides by 6, and x equals 4. Okay, how do you feel? Okay, let's try number 3. Okay, Caden, what do you think we should do first?
Take away the 7.
Okay,
7.
good. We want to go to this side and take away the 7 because that's the side with a letter. Okay, so Raven. Okay, what does that leave me over here on this right side?
5K.
5K, perfect. And then negative 3 minus 7, what is that?
10.
Negative 10, yep, good job. Okay, so then we divide both sides by what? 5. And we have K is equal to negative 2. How are you feeling about this so far? Okay, no? No? Okay, we'll keep going. We're going to keep going. I think just the more, sometimes this is like a practice. You know, like you just got to practice it. Okay, so 4. What are we solving for? C. So we got to move everything away from C. So what's next to C? 2. So what? It's minus 2. So what's the opposite of minus 2? Add 2. And then negative 3C. 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay. Negative 3 and C are multiplying. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. Divide both sides by negative 3. And that cancels this and leaves you C. 9 divided by negative 3 is? Bless you. Okay, number 5. Okay, what's our variable we're looking for? Bless you. What's our variable? P. Okay, so we got to move everything away from P. So what are we going to do first? Subtract 3. Subtract 3. We have, that's canceled. Okay, you know why I'm marking that out? Because plus 3 minus 3 zeroes out, right? So we have negative 8P over here. And negative 29 minus 3 is negative 32. Divide by
8.
number 6. Okay, this is a tricky one a little bit. What are we solving for? T. Okay, so I'm going to move everything away first. What I need to move away? I need to deal with this minus 5 right here. What's the opposite of minus 5?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. Okay, what I do to one side, I do to the other. I have negative 5t over here. And then negative 5 plus 5 is what?
0.
0. Okay, so it's done, right? Okay, so but negative 5 and t are multiplying, so I'm going to divide by, I'm just going to do it just like normal. I'm going to divide by negative 5. 0 divided by negative 5 is 0 divided by negative 5 is 0. Anything divided by 0 and anything with 0 in is going to be 0. Okay?
I want to try the next one by itself.
Yep, try the next one by yourself. Check your last 3 answers and then let me know how you did.